So can we just deep dive into your personal journey about your schooling in Srinagar and what inspired you to dream big?
One of the foundation is extremely important for kids. Bosus Kasmat Wol ki my parents is done my teacher, and despite everything, they chose to give me the best education available in Srinagar at that time, which was Burnhall School. The source वारिया द्रोग फीस was वारिया ₹6 रतस फीस अगर बह कुन दो बेमार ओस गसान मे करान रिश्तेदार मजाक दपान ₹2 कर जाए अत क्या गर ब्यूठुक आज दोहस फीस गो ₹2 जाए सो पॉइंट आई एम मेकिंग इज कि बर्नहल स्कूल तम सात फादर फैरो फादर जोन्स मिसेस थैचर his thinking is different and you must be focused on bringing the strengths out and not necessarily discouraging the kids on their weaknesses. So I suppose you emphasize karon sani parents ki you lightly godnik 15 wari of education because you should bana pat foundation sari zindagi khatra. So me khatra was but fortunate ki timo wuch hey Mr. he has confidence timo lagos bu zyada stages pe debate committees mas koros that I want to start some communication skills that allowed me to communicate effectively and more importantly articulate my points, which today is more important than knowledge. You may know a lot, but if you cannot sell it, it's as good as nothing, right? So you have to be able to communicate and sell that ice to scheme was chnavana. So skill set ditu me Burnhall schools mas.
Shafat Qazi su tire chalo muzan lakchars.
Bilkul janab. Ak so tire rabrok te be so steel so
tasus
gindit bana tatas ko bana bilkul.
Tampat cycle tampat to godnich scooter tuhun godnich car kosas.
Me was godnich scooters usme Yazdi. I remember very well my dad had asked me that if I, do well with my matric exams, he would get me a motorcycle, but shok motorcycle, which I exceeded his expectations because of the incentive, which by the way is very important for students also. Give them incentives. The मेन पद गोडनिक मोटरसाइकिल में यजदी तिमन दोनों सु यवान ₹10,000 में ठीक पड़ियात मेन मोल उस गरीब बिचार तमिस पे जीपी फंड पर पोस्ट काढ़ी तो तमिन सु $10,000 motorcycle.
Do you win though as a student you have seen school, college, university, you have seen both parts of the world. So I can preserve Shafat Qazi, show us your certificate of 10 standard, your graduation, your master's.
I already said this, that I have never ever shown my degree to anyone. Matric pattern, bachelor's, master's, never. And even yell me yeti milyo godnik nokri, tam satya horn me bachelor's degree kaisi. And I don't think people really care for what marks you got in any subject. And we all have a calling. There are two most important days in a person's life. One is the day that you were born. And the second is the day you realize why you were born. So identify karun ki calling catch. Sometimes these are your indicators. These mark certificates, these performances.
These are only indicators.
These are all indicators. The day you realize that the reason I was born is because of this particular contribution to the world, to humanity, to business, or whatever it might be, that's when you crack the code.
Very controversial question. हमेशा जो student initiative मैं बनायो एक दोक video. Skills क्या important किन degree?
I don't think it's a binary issue. In other words, it's not 0 and 1. It's not black and white. I think it's a hybrid. It has a lot of grayness in it, in the sense that at the end of the day, degree is just simply validation that you reach the finish line of something. But that doesn't necessarily mean you achieved the skill sets that you needed to achieve. A lot of people have degrees, but they don't have skills. And a lot of people have skills and they don't have degrees. Steve Jobs, who we all know, founder of Apple, took computer science courses, but part of his computer science courses, with one of the prerequisites was all kind of course history, calligraphy. And it was that calligraphy skill that allowed him to later on build the fonts, unique fonts that Apple was very popular about, and also gave him that eye towards design. So you never know कि कुछ course रटियो to university. One of the beauties of going to universities and colleges is that they force you to take some courses that you otherwise don't have any interest in. But eventually su bakar yawan. Personally, one of the civil engineering and then computer sciences. Earth must wrote me prerequisites was accounting, which
which was not part of
otherwise is not part of engineering. But I'll tell you, that's the most important business language subject that exists in the world. And without that, my company would not have grown. Agar main clarity I say ki accounting, how it works, what's the difference between an expense, an asset, and a liability. So, janab, yim sari cheez chiwan eventually bakar. But I would emphasize more on achieving mastery in one skill rather than being master of, jack of all trades and master of none. So अंग्रेजों खबर कारूं don't be jack of all trades and master of none. बराबर छुपती वना तुम्हें दियो दहन चीज़ें थप के know your strength and become a master in that. That will get you to places.
Ekis entrepreneurship pata shayad yel me funds the resources asan daily hackable entrepreneurship start kar. As per you, what is the actual foundation? If I have an idea, how I can turn this idea into an entrepreneurship?
So, ishak myths ke funds gasan me asin company start karne khatre bushiman wana im gai heel bahane. Na malab agar na toy garzu chui to chu you blame on management post management resources. And I'll tell you ki bukya chus what I look for when I'm investing in companies. Yum fundamental research na san karing pannis business models khatre. Tat much ke cheezes na ago total addressable market. Yath is one TAM.
Total addressable market.
So agar tu kanan chiv sangtar kuitya luk ch kashir mas pasand karan sangtar khyon. So chu total addressable market. You see nafar pasand ch karan sangtar khyon ikachlet ch khama veris mas sangtar.
Sahi baat.
Theek che? Multiply that, tat lagayu cost, that's your total addressable market in rupees. Second question is on go-to-market strategy. Agar tu headphone chukaning, yum Bluetooth based kuitya look
You
use kara headphones versus phone hi karan should use. More importantly, yum kam yum look isha younger generation, isha Gen Y, isha Gen Z, isha Gen Alpha. Kirishim a old age, right? So go to market strategy means ki panun customer karyun identify the pay which you bukait ka wata tamis. Agar ma you should Gen Z tel chapaya shu sokolun mas gasun. Yum promote karna mion ye earphone, right?
True.
Because customer should tati. And last but not the least is ki what is the burn rate. Yes, burn rate go noksan. Har koi business chu godne tigun donson variant noksan gasa. So you noksan kaitis kalas gaisi. To I'm cost catch noksan. And eventually cut stages per by the profitable company. Yathis one cash flow positive. The patikatya gaisi means multiply so and see grow.
Used yet entrepreneurship culture go Kashmir's man start. Tuhindi hisab kya basan toy
Buwano toy akna fara mention dopun hai mesh ponsu zorat buchu 40% profit banawa. Mes bakarna zehni invest kuni business mein 40% profit banai dopun isha kam mes shi zyada dopun bukota gas profit banaun mes 0%. Dopun ti kya mes agar to sochak every penny that is coming as a profit you should reinvest in your own business. Because agar aim business se yuta profit utna already. Imagine yahi ponsa agar se wapas invest karak pannis business mein. Mein chakat kyu chahiye profit. Miss cash flow in business is not needed when you're growing a company. Growth is more important than profit in the early years. Bustas?
True.
Very important. So I saw business was metrics karan is use America's must touch on GPM. GPM ch growth and profit margin. ठीक है तथ मज वन rule of 40 rule of 40 वन कि growth the profit margin add करित गि 40% 40 हर आसन अमुक मतलब गो अगर तुह growth छो 45% तुह हेकु नेगेटिव 5% profit थवित तो तुह golden company ठीक है ये छुस बह सारी दपान सारी बिजनेस यम basic fundamentals थयु याद कि पनुन टोटल एड्रेसेबल मार्केट है बा खोल कैफेटेरिया फलाइन जाए अच्छा तत रोजान 10,000 लोग टोटल तथ मज 8,000 लोग तिम आज तक कैफेटेरियस में चाय चम राइट मार्केट क्या रूद 2,000 2,000 मज तिमन एवरेज इनकम तिमन छुन डिस्पेंसिबल कैश कि तिम कर ये सो ये रिसर्च कर टोटल गो टू मार्केट स्ट्रेटजी इन पाई मोन कस्टमर रोजान कत सो अगर मार्केटिंग कर तो कर कमिस and last but not the least is to implementing the rule कि I want to go cash flow positive. I don't want any profits, but I want the growth.
Okay, Mr. Qazi, तोय आमु का incident येतन तोय interview पुसहो मगर the person, the CEO of the company or the manager rejected you outrightly. Even तोय आसो तुमिस convince करने कोशिश थी करमुत मगर तुमो दोबुंदो no, we don't need your services. तोय सो का occasion आमु
Often, I have been rejected by my clients, by my customers. Presentation, soon software is a software current present by an organization. The there's always people that have your competition does better than you. Absolutely. So,
so mindset Rozan. You have been rejected. Now, what's your mindset?
Mindset ye Dalai Lama when you lose, don't lose the lesson. So, my mindset chosun hamish thi. Yelbo osus lose karan ka deal. Bosus hamish pat behwan team si karan discuss tala. I went to what did we learn from this experience?
Here we have a great lesson for students.
So each very important. Edison is vonuk to post at keshonan reporter na kitin electric light bulb korna. Ija tem donos reporter donos mebut se sheet sajji light at failure gumut before you got the correct
25,000 times.
So tem donos nana megonut sajji light failure kiya. But I can tell you 40 ways that it doesn't work. so experience the chemistry. So never look at as failure as something that discourages you or you should stop. As a matter of fact, look at failure as a stepping stone towards your ultimate success.
How Shafat Qazi defines communication skills? What, as per your insights, that what our schools are not teaching, our parents are discussing, what are actually communication skills? Yit chu pata, mich pata, man and parent and pata, cushion pata. Communication skills matlab go Angrez pet kaat karein. Is it so?
No, communication skills go minimum lafzan maz panun point kam banaun across karun. Bumanote ak interesting class new me America's maz for that classes now business writing. Business writing maz as teacher is तम वोन मे दोपन मे इंग्लिश टीचर तम हसा लिख मे 3 पेज लेटर तो एंडस लिखनुम 3 पेज लेटर मज इफ आई हैड मोर टाइम आई वुड हैव रिटन यू अ शॉर्टर लेटर सो पॉइंट ओस ये कि people often ramble in their communication points तम सत क्या गसान कि पॉइंट गसान लॉस्ट सो मोन अख प्रिंसिपल ओस एज अ CEO ते मे लुक लेखान ईमेल 2 पेज 1 पेज बह 2 पैराग्राफ या 4 सेंटेंस ज्यादा लेखान आई वुड फोकस ऑन कि असली मैसेज क्या प्रछान क्या तमिक जवाब प्रिसाइज पॉइंट सो स्टार्ट विद बीइंग वेरी प्रिसाइज बे करू पनुन अगर तुम कंस आर्टिकुलेट करान पॉइंट सह करू 10 लटन रिवाइज ट्राई टू सी बह कूत रिडंडेंसी कचा अत मज बह कड़ित हेक ताकि you get the point across because people often get lost when you are being redundant. Timanchu focus tala.
Will teachers be replaced by technology? So point what is that?
Teachers are already replaced by technology, but one of the so are parents in many cases. Today's kids Google more than you would imagine.
True.
They are actually raised by Google. they know more about the world from Google because various चीज़ छुन थी मैं कहाँ
बराबर शुद्ध
parents पृछित किए. But in the big picture, I would say that we're at that stage now where the knowledge workers will be replaced by artificial intelligence. By knowledge workers, I mean teachers, I mean architects, I mean engineers, I mean even doctors, I mean even lawyers. Their role will shrink. So yum cheese gasan replace. Once you come to a interviews, most the me wantas actions, will AI replaced, me, my job? Will AI take my job? AI will never take your job, but the person who's using AI, he will take your job.
True.
So you khayal ke
Technology is not going to replace you, but the person who will learn the
exactly.
technology will definitely will.
It's a tool. It's a tool for us to become smarter.
Okay, Mr. Qazi, as a Kashmiri American, where do you find Kashmir today on the global technological map?
So I have to say that with my presence here with BQE Software having more than 160 employees today in Kashmir, and not only that, also being one of the critical elements of our company, there's tremendous amount of talent in among Kashmiris and brain power. So can Kashmir be as progressive as Hyderabad or Bangalore? Absolutely, yes, even better. But what's needed is Shafats of the world to invest more in Kashmir and believe in our talent. And more importantly, implement the right systems. The reason BQE Software is so successful in Kashmir and others failed is because we implemented the right system. People always blame, Kashmiris, and I tell them, look, go to America, go to England. Kashmiris are doing so well. Why? Because those countries have a system.
Okay.
And when you have a good system, then people thrive.
Ultimately, after 10 years, what will be Tesla or any electrical vehicle?
10 October, probably by the time this podcast gets released, it's already past that date. Elon Musk has disclosed the next autonomous robotic car. And we are expecting both Optimus, which is the robot, and the self-driving car, because they're working on two technologies.
Optimus.
Tim karan robotus per tabnishna Optimus. Tim expect karan ke 1 billion robots asan garan maz lukan in next 10 to 15 years. 1 billion. Balki maz zyada. So average cost gasi temis robots around $15,000. $15,000 gay lagbag 10 lakh rupiya. So magari kari sare kaam obviously it can be trained for do anything. Chahe to dukanas par thayun, chahe to gairi loyun bana chalnas, whatever you want, or you just want a companion.
So Will Smith in movie.
Barabar. The beige Tesla high panic car, and we're expecting a car I say without any steering wheel, obviously, without any brakes, without any accelerator. Seats will be facing each other. So so you're having a conversation with the other people, maybe table laptop hookup so you could be working while you are going to your work or whatever you're doing. So